Sunday, October the 5th, 2025, I posted Anachronism 4846. It's called Susanne Swinert. How does one celebrate the value that friendship brings into our lives? We certainly cannot place a price tag on such connections, can we? My thoughts go immediately to my dearest, most treasured friend, the lovely lady Susanne Swinert. She found me, as friends often do, when I was at my worst. I was taking out the trash one day. There was a bit of light rain coming down, just enough, as it were, to mask the waterworks that were quite literally transpiring within and about me. Yes, I'd been crying, had been up all night. It was nearly one morning, and I'd been scrubbing, and it was early one morning, and I'd been scrubbing and cleaning the place in which I live, having just moved there a few months previous during a bit of a high moment and a long slump of what had been, for me, the lowest. I was giddy to have the privilege of such an environ, after what I rather too remorsefully thought of as a too elongated, unfair era. Well, I'd only had the joy of living in this divine little home for a couple of months when, as my luck would often do for that period, I clung to as tortured, took another downturn. To mindlessly mend my insomnambulant and despondent spirits, I did what I would sometimes do, which is clean. I'd scrub and rub the floors and walls and dishes and furniture as if I were removing all of the dust and rust from my very soul. But by morning, the task had failed to brighten my spirits in the least. I had twisted the detritus into a few grocery bags that I tied up neatly, and I was carrying out a trinity of these balloons filled with detritus outside my apartment building and to the nearby garbage bins that accompanied my building, where I thought myself alone, letting the rain fall as it did upon my uncloaked neck and douse my hair, perhaps in an intensely dramatic effort on my part, rather than the light rains went out from beside the fence where the garbage pails would be aligned, where into one of which I was bidding an unthinking au revoir to whatever I had deemed dirty and unworthy. Yes, out from practical invisibility slunk my fine friend, this being before we'd made an acquaintance whatsoever, well, until that very moment. And there she stood, having in essence made herself a sort of oratorial blockade between me and the release of that last bag swept nonsense from my new home and into the bin into which the other two had already gone, with a loud high trill of "Right you are, sir, and a gorgeous morning. It's blessed you be here at this hour, wouldn't you say?" I nearly dropped that last bag right upon her own bonnet. She's such a wee lovely lady, that Susanne. Needless to say, I found my manners swiftly toned myself up to as near her splendor as was humanly possible, and with some pithy comeback, and we've been darling companions ever since.